Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal. Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal. Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal. Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another day of interaction on Foco Talk. As you all know, Foco Talk is a talk that we have here at Foco Online TV, where we have cross-cutting issues to be discussed in different in varieties of, let's say, cross-cutting discussions, whether it is political, whether it is social. We have each and every one of these conversations for our own. I'm coming. We're just trying to handle a technical problem, and yes. So today we have in studio with us who will be joining us from Ver Online, Ajibo.
Fuck
I mean, so today we have with us Achibo Wallo, and Achibo will be joining us from the US. Achibo, hello there, Mr. Wallo. As the Liberian people say in common terms, Honorable Wallo. Honorable Ajibo Wallo, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, that's good. How are you, Mr. Lincoln? How you doing today?
I am doing great. On a Sunday, happy to be alive. Too many deaths, too many worse situations. But again, God has spared my life to see yet another day. For that, I am really, really grateful.
I think that's
And
pretty.
how about you and your family as well?
We are doing great. I think you rightly put it. When we live to see another day, we have to be grateful to God because uh, it is indeed an opportunity for us to continue to be alive. So I'm overwhelmed and grateful to God that I'm still among the living. If I wanted to share this show, okay, I think I see where to share it.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, it can be easy. It can be easily shared. Yeah, so welcome. Today is just the two of us. We're going to be having like cross-cutting conversations, but all political. That that has to do with you as an individual and national issues. But much of the conversation you are aspiring to occupy the seat of representative for District 13. So for the public viewing, once again, I just want to say that we have with us Mr. Archibald Wallo, all the way from the US currently. He's an aspirant. He as he said it, he will be talking more on that. He will be contesting. He's one of the potential candidates for the legislative seat for district number 13. So Mr. Archibald, just before we start, a little bit about you to the public. Who is Archibald?
Well, thank you, Mr. Lincoln. Before we get into that, I'm trying to share the link on my
Hello?
page. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm not getting you.
Can you hear me now?
I'm still not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Mr. Lincoln, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, good.
So did you get my question? I was saying for the
Yeah, yeah.
public to before
I,
we
I
yes,
got your
I'm
question.
hearing you clear
I
now.
was saying that before I go into that, can
Yes.
you
Okay. So
share
I
the
was
link
saying
on my
for the
page?
public own understanding and who is Mr. Wallo?
Thank you. So let me say greetings to all of your listeners in
Okay, I will
Liberia.
do that. I will do that.
Greetings to all of your listeners in Liberia
So
and around
let
the world.
let just yeah let it okay.
We're having a delay. Can I go ahead now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying that I said I
I'm
bring you
hearing you. I'm
greetings.
hearing you, Mr. I'm hearing you clear. The public is hearing you. I'm hearing you. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
good. So I'm happy to be here with you. I'm looking forward to uh, a positive conversation. Let me say hello to everybody, those of you that are listening to us by the way of introduction. I'm Pastor J. Archibald B. Wallow, and I was born in Sastown, Grand Creek County, at the age of 8 years old. My parents moved into District Number 13 of Monserrado County, specifically in the Basseltown area, New Georgia West. And so I was raised in Basseltown, one of the poorest communities in our district. Um, I I went to school in in the New Georgia area. I graduated high school from the E. Jonathan Gorich Memorial High School in Bannersville, which of course is a government school. Upon my graduation, I went into teaching because I wanted to give back to my community and to my district. I enrolled at the Christian Theological Seminary, where I earned my first bachelor degree uh, in theology. And then right after that, by the grace of God, I got an opportunity for me to travel outside of Liberia, and I came into the U.S. And there are a few other things I want us to also, that I want the viewers to know about me. And I have been a pastor, I have been an activist, I have been a community leader, I have been a civic leader as well. My upbringing informed most of the things I hold dear to myself, most especially when it comes to our country and when it comes to our district. Because of the way I grew up in our district, the problems that we have been confronted with since I was a little boy, those problems still exist. And I think we have not had the kind of leadership that will earnest and motivate and bring our people together for us to solve those problems that we have always been confronted with. So um, I am looking forward to having a conversation on these issues and my approach that I bring to them.
Okay, okay. So thank you very much. You are a grounded resident of District 13, having born here, graduated from the Gabriel Pullett High School. And yes, opportunity unveiled itself. And there you are in the US, but still, in your own words, making your own contribution back home and want to see how best you can properly contribute to how well the district that you believe in can be properly represented. But first, I will ask you how up to speed are you with the political activities in Liberia?
I follow Liberian politics. I have a very active team in Liberia, and I'm also a member of a political party. So I try to keep myself abreast with happenings in our politics. And so, yeah, I am very deformed of things that are happening politically, and not just politically, in other sectors of our society. So yes, I have been engaged, very engaged with our society, not just in our district but also nationally. I think it's the
Are
internet, right?
are
The
you there?
internet is
Yeah, we having slight fluctuation here, but we're dealing with that. We're dealing with that.
okay. Okay. Yeah. I think we're having a low delay, so we'll try to
Oh,
manage
never
that.
mind. Plug it directly. Plug it.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal. Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal.
So welcome back. You know the with the issue of internet in Liberia, sometimes when you can have your own unexpected challenges. But however, actually, well, thank you for holding on, Mr. Wallo. So you're alive. I think we should be okay. We should be okay now. So for us to do justice to justice to the public, I would just ask you to please briefly introduce yourself, and then we can proceed to the previous question that was asked.
Well, my name is J. Archibald B. Wallow. I'm a pastor, a founder of the Kingdom Life International Ministries, both in the United States and Liberia. And I was born in Southtown, Grand Crew County. And at the age of 8, my parents moved into District number 13, Monserrado County. So I was actually raised in District number 13, specifically in the Basseltown area, New Georgia West. I went to school, um, elementary, middle school, which we call junior high and high school. And I graduated from the E. Jordanton Gurich Memorial High School in Bannersville, which is a public institution. So I went to a public school, a government school, as we call it. Um,
Okay.
Upon my graduation, I went, I felt that I needed to give back to my district and back to my community. So I went back, I went to the classroom. I taught in the Gabriel Poulet, free of charge. I was not being paid, but I thought that it was, my way of giving back. And I was principal for the Ella George Elementary and Junior High School around the Tusafi area. I I attended, upon my graduation, I went to the Christian Theological Seminary, where I earned my first Bachelor of Art degree in theology. And then right after that, I had an opportunity to travel outside of Liberia. So I traveled to the United States, um, and I got here December 4th, 2007. Since then, I've been here in the United States. I went to school here, earned two bachelors of art degrees, and master degrees, and a PhD. Um, and I am now looking forward to giving back to my district. You know, when we were growing up, Lincoln, a lot of people said that nothing good can come from Bassertown. And being being here and putting myself forward as an aspirant for the leadership of our district, it should be a motivation for every young man in our district that is still struggling, that has not seen hope for the future. Because yes, indeed, there are good things that can happen in our district, in our communities. We just need to get the leadership that our district deserves for us to be able to do that. And so I am looking forward to our discussion, and I am looking forward to your questions as well. I want to talk to our people in the way that we will understand, because the next election is a very serious election. And so I am married with two children, Lisa and Priscilla, and I have a lot of spiritual children as well.
Okay, so that was a good one. I mean, you said you've been away since 2007. So that leads me to the next question: how up to speed are you with the political activities in Liberia?
Well, Lincoln, it is often said that there is nowhere like home. District 13 Liberia is my country, is my home, and because of the passion and my expectation of my country, so I try to keep myself, informed about the happenings. I was just in Liberia about 4 months ago. I was there in March, and I every time I go to Liberia, I try to spend time talking to our people, getting to know the problems that our people are faced with. But then also, I try to keep myself informed with reading daily newspapers from Liberia, and then following other talk shows that discuss issues in our country. So uh, I I am pretty much informed about things that happen in our district and also nationally.
Okay, wanting to represent the district at the wanting to represent your people at the level of the legislature requires a lot of things. So I just want to kind of try to get your opinion on few national issues, and then we can narrow down our discussion to the district. What was your own feeling about the July the 26th of July event, in which there was this brutal protest that led to some student leaders, or yes, student leaders being brutally hurt by another group of pro government individuals, and nothing was done by on the part of the police. No intervention was made on the part of the Solicitor General. The entire Justice Ministry was a bit silent about everything. What do you have to say about that?
Well, thank you, Lincoln, for that question. Our country, we are a post-war country, and uh, one of the things that we should continue to do, and we should continue to strive to do, is to build our democracy in a way that it is much more tolerant, and that our organic laws uh, is positioned in the way that it is practiced and it is enforced. Um, what happened on our national day of pride is unacceptable. I think every meaningful Liberian should be able to condemn what happened. No Liberian, no Liberian should be brought to the place of abuse. And what happened to the university student is something that I personally condemn. I talk about it on other talk shows. But yet it's the larger problem though, Lincoln. You see, the way in which
Uh-huh.
we as people, the way in which we carried about treating our citizens is something that has been in our history. Liberian citizens are not respected, even by their own government. It was not the first time that happened. There were a group of people that
Okay.
assembled, you know, to I think assemble for when Ombo Cummings was in court. You know, we saw the same thing happening where police, you know, tear gas them, and then also use, you know, hot water to disperse them. You know, this perpetual violence from state security is unacceptable. And being a post-war country, you know, that is something that should concern every Liberian. And with what happened on the 26th of July, I condemn it in the strongest term, and there should be no Liberian citizen that should be brought that low. And so we have a lot of things to do. This government has a lot of things to do, most especially when it comes to providing security for every Liberian citizen. And that is something we have not been able to do in a very long time. The way we treat our people is sad. It's very, very sad. And we continue to see that. We should discourage that
So,
in every uh, specter of our society. We should discourage that. Liberians' lives matter. Liberians should be treated with dignity. It is their constitutional right for them to assemble. Every Liberians have the right to assemble, either to petition a government or for so many other reasons, right? It is their constitutional right. They don't need anyone to favor them for them to do that, and for the government to become brutal against its own citizen. Uh, those are things that I thought we were never going to see in our democracy. But we are a growing democracy. We still need to work on the things that will improve and strengthen, our democracy, but we should be able to discourage those violence, whether it's from government actors or from the student movement. We should be able to discourage that. I think civil conversations should be encouraged, and that is something that we all should be able to shine light on, so that our people will be able to engage in that. But it should be discouraged.
so sitting as imagine you sitting as a representative, right? And such thing happened. What would have been your own level of input? Because nowadays we see a lot of things happen, and people will be more like, oh, it's a national thing, it's a national thing, but people don't understand the level of importance the House of Legislature has have in important decision making in decision making processes and all of that. When those things happen, these were children that these were students, as I would put it, that came from different districts. So that is to say, they each, as an individual, they each of them had representation. Probably some of them could have been from District 13, but on the broader scales, we did not see much from the House of Legislature in terms of condemnation, in terms of calling or key individuals involved who will answer important questions, as we see in other civilized democracy. What would you have recommended to the current District 13 representative? At least some prudent action that he would have taken to that the residents of District 13 would have seen this level of representation and dignity coming from the individual who represent them.
I totally agree with you. I agree with you in the sense that the House of Representatives has enormous power to, sometimes intervene in these things that happen. Giving press conferences might be good, but those are not the best solutions that we want to see. One of the power that representatives are given is the power of oversight. If I was representative for district number 13, I could have put forward a letter to the Speaker of the House so that plenary can invite the Justice Minister, and for us to be able to talk about these things. And then my goal would be how we can talk about it, give it a national voice, so the reoccurrence of that those things will not happen again. Look, Lincoln, let me honest here. This is not the first time. Okay, this is not the first time. Government after government, when students movement example uh, try to petition their government, they are always brutalized. This is not the first time in soup history that these things happen. But as you rightly said, that we have not been able to address it in a way that permanent solution is brought to that. But I think the House of Representatives can play an enormous role in making sure that those things don't happen. So what I would do, as I indicated, is to bring the justice ministry for him to come and answer questions. Okay, but at the same time, we also have to identify with the students. Those students are Liberian citizens. Again, our citizens, the way citizens of Liberia are treated by their own government, should be discouraged. No, it should be shame, because no Liberian citizen deserves that, most especially when they have assembled their constitutional right, when they have assembled to petition their government. Government should not be perpetrating violence on its citizens. That is not the democracy we want to see in our country. And so, yes, I was going to play an active role in it. In fact, there were friends of mine that was involved in that, and I talked to them. I talked to them. When those things happen, Lincoln, people try to tell the story in a way that it becomes political. But when it comes to Liberian lives, that is something I don't take lightly of, because we, as young people, our young people in the country, have been abused so many times, and they don't have the voice in high places that will speak for them. Young people have been termed as problem makers, when they try to do the right thing. Young people don't have the support from national government that they deserved. And so, by the grace of God, if I am fortunate to lead our district, that is one thing I am going to champion. Okay, I am going to use my oversight responsibility to hold accountable people that do those things, whether it is from the government or from any
Okay.
entity of our society.
Okay. So the next national issue that I will put your attention to is the one of the suspended Minister of State, along with his three individuals, but specifically is him for now. It's not the suspension technically at this point. It is the Minister of State, the chief actor. You say the Minister of Ministers, because in the U.S. that is equated to the Secretary of State, who carries enormous power. So you have the Minister of State having conversations with citizens of the Republic of Liberia and trying to provide justification for why people should not look down on them or on this administration when it comes to corruption. Because in his own words, in summary, even if they steal the money, the little money they have, they're going to construct their own buildings. And even if they die, when the grandchildren is around, the people can see these buildings and can take pride in it. So that is how he tried to present the office of the president because he's the minister of state. What what was your own feeling about that entire statement?
Sad. I felt sad, and for a couple of reasons. Our society and our country is a country of values. We were raised with so many values. All right, I tell you that my parents did not shy away from disciplining me when I took something that did not belong to me, and we call that stealing. Uh, we, as a country, those are the values that we were raised with. We're raised with the value of respect, the value of not taking what is not yours, the value of dignity, the value of of community, where someone else's child is in problem and the entire community come together to solve that problem. That's how I was raised. And hearing a statement of that kind, it make me sad because I I really thought that we as Liberians we were brought up right, but these values are fast eroding from our national discussion. And the sad thing about it is not the person that makes the statement, the people that celebrate those statements. That's what makes me sad. We celebrate rogues, we celebrate people that steal from our country. We celebrate people that perpetuate harm on our people. We celebrate them and we consider them to be heroes.
But
You know,
he tried to put in a word like, I mean, he tried to present an argument
but let's
because over the years, other people have stolen, and what happened is that all of their monies, some of them they sit in the country where you reside now. Some of their money is in Europe, but for them, even if they steal, I mean, they're going to build their houses, their private institutions, but it is going to be in the very country, and the citizens, we the citizens, we're going to be part and parcel, and of whatever they steal. So we're going to attend the schools if that's institution. We're going to pass by their homes if it is in our communities and stuff like that. So at least for his own argument is that we are seeing them. It is not something that we are not going to see like the other people.
you see, Mr. Lincoln, that argument, a man of his stature and the position he holds should never make that argument. I, I'm trying not to repeat what he said or the argument he put forward. I'm trying not to do that because it's not it is not a Liberian way of thinking. Okay. Now let me give you an instance. A young man
Uh-huh.
or a Zoko is on Broad Street who is desperately hungry. He needs food to eat. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have a way to get food for him to eat. If he stole from somebody and he's caught, what will people do to him?
Uh,
Although the reason he stole is because not because he wants to be a criminal, but because he wants something to eat. You see, that is the argument that the minister put forward. I am stealing from you for me to do good in my name. Stealing is stealing. Okay, there is no act of justification for it. Now, let me go further than that. One of the reasons that I really felt really, really sad about that, Mr. Lincoln, is this. I will share a story with you.
okay.
During the war, my family and I, we went for refuge and we were in Grand Bassa County. And my mother, we had $10 on a Sunday. It was the $10 we depended on to eat, buy food and eat. $10. A friend of mine invited me to his church. And what he told me was that there would be a lot of girls that I want you to come for us to meet the girls, young people growing up, right? So, and because he talked about those girls and we wanted to have fun time, He asked me to bring some money with me. I never had money. Right? We wanted to impress the people. We wanted to impress the girls. What did I do? The $10 my family depended on to eat that day. I took that $10, took it to church. After church, we bought stuff we could buy, did what we're supposed to do. But guess what? My brothers and my sister, including my mom, they were back home, starving, waiting for me, praying that I should return with that money so we will be able to buy something and eat. But I stole the money, spent it on myself, spent it on my friends, and my family were back home struggling, starving. They never had any food to eat. When I returned home, and my mother was crying, Lincoln, my brothers and sisters looking in their faces with hunger, begging me to give them the money that I took. That's what stealing does. It takes one second.
Yeah.
One second. I want our people to understand, the gravity at which corruption bankrupt a country and a society. See, when someone steals, it takes bread, it takes food from other people's table. When government ministers or government officials participate in corruption, it keeps our country down. And there is no act, there is absolutely no act of kindness that can justify that. You are a rogue. You steal from your own country. How can you profess to love your country and you steal from that country? So this is not an argument. This is not an argument. It should never be an argument. It should be condemned. And nobody should celebrate that. Approach. Nobody should celebrate that. Nobody should celebrate a role. Nobody should commend a role. Someone steals, someone participates in corruption, they should be condemned to the highest, because that's what keeps our country what it is. And people that celebrate those kind of statements, they are not true Liberians. We are a country of values. We are a country that cherishes dignity. We are a country that believes so much in our religions. How can we celebrate corruption? How can we celebrate people that participate in corruption? How can we as a people? These people are being hailed. They are being celebrated as heroes. Shame on us. Anybody that celebrates those kind of things, they are not in the interest of Liberia, because this does not only affect one person, it affects us all. That's why we don't have roads. That's why we don't have good roads. That's why we don't have the infrastructure we need to move our country forward. That's why we don't have hospitals to treat our people. That's why we don't have good schools. That's why we don't have good internet service. We don't have technology in our country because of things like that. That is not politics. One second. That is not politics. That is not politics. Okay, this has something to do with the lives of Liberians. Liberians are dying in drones, and there are few people there that are corrupting our national treasury, and we are celebrating them. We want to frame it as a debate, as a conversation. It should never be a conversation.
This question was really important for you.
Condemning this art everywhere it is found, and for the president not to take action on that, to wait for the Americans to sanction those people before he can supposedly suspend them, that is a shame. No Liberian should celebrate that. That is a shame. That's what keeps our country what it is. And it is time for us to rise above that. It is time for us to rise above that. We need to put those days behind us. Corruption has kept our country. So see how our people are suffering and poor. Just within a few years, within 5 years, you have become a millionaire at the expense of our people. And we want to frame it as a discussion. That is not a discussion. I didn't want to talk about it in the way he presented it. I wanted people to look at it on the broader spectrum, because those are the things that keep our country like that. And people like that should never be in public service. People like that should never be given any opportunity in public service.
People like that should never, ever be in public service. That's the word of Mr. Wallow. So your last point becomes my next discussion. The sanction. The sanction. Three key individuals. If you look at these three individuals, it's like technically, indirectly, the president himself is on a sanction because you had the very McGill who made that statement. You had the head of Freeport, and you had the Solicitor General who took no action on the July 26th issue. Yes, these three people now they are under suspension, and that suspension led to the president some way somehow under 24 hours suspending these individuals pending uh, the much anticipated investigation that he mentioned in his Facebook post to the Liberian population. Don't you think that that sanction will? uh, I mean, first and foremost, the action by the post, I would say the Facebook post or the press release by the president that these individuals are going to be investigated. How serious do you see that? Is this something that you think is going to happen?
Look, Mr. Lincoln, let me let, let, let put it squarely, right?
Yeah.
Um, the only reason, the only reason the president did talk something about this issue is because it is coming from the Americans.
So then, why should
One
we?
second,
Why?
one second,
No,
though.
I'm coming.
Let me answer your question.
I want to say. I want to say something. Why is it that we boast of a sovereign? We boast that we are a nation celebrating sovereignty. We are amongst the community of nations. We help we help establish the great world institutions today, like the United Nations, the ECOWAS, the AU, and you just name it, the Monetary Union, and so much other. And we are founding members to other great institutions around the world. We are over 150 or 170 years of age, closing in on 2 centuries already. Why is it that we are not responsible enough to take our internal actions when things are not working fine for us? But it has to be our motherly nation from which we were birthed. Even though that delivery is still something that we can discuss, not today. Why is it has to be America every now and then stepping her feet down before Liberian leaders take some very serious actions?
Look,
Why?
listen. I agree with all of the section you have made, but here's the issue. If this president is serious of fighting corruption, we have the LACC as an institution, as an anti-corruption commission. Don't just suspend these people. Submit them to an investigation by the LACC. That's how you fight corruption. This administration, the president, we are administration, have not been serious in fighting corruption. Okay? The Americans sanctioning your chief of staff, the president, the minister for presidential affairs, should be alarming to you. You should be able to distance yourself from it completely by inviting the LCC to do an audit. That office needed to be audited. Okay? None of those things were done. The president did not mount the pulpit to talk to the Liberian people the seriousness about what the American announced. He did not. A press release was issued. Up to now, the president have not informed the Liberian people about all of these happenings. Mr. Lincoln, listen, again, I will tell you, the Liberian government have not learned to respect its citizens. And we, the citizens, we ourselves, we condone that. So presidents come, presidents go, they do that all the time. They do that, most especially this president. He have not had the guts to discuss the seriousness of this issue. These sanctions were placed on individuals, but guess what? The image of the nation is tinted. Other African countries and other countries are laughing at us. It seems like we don't know what we are doing. How can you be a minister in 5 years? You are now a millionaire. It is only in Liberia those things can happen.
Apparently, his salary is high.
Apparently,
Apparently,
you have
because
Liberians, you have Liberians
because
that don't have access to healthcare.
unlike
You have
unlike
Liberians
unlike
that don't have a
unlike
job.
other
You have
countries, unlike
Liberians
Mr. Wallo,
that are struggling with flooding issues. You have
I say
Liberians. You have
I
Liberians
say
that don't have
hello,
tuition. You have
Mr. Wallo.
Liberians that don't have opportunities. You say apparently the salary is high.
Apparently, apparently,
Will you
because
pay a minister? Will you pay a minister
Liberia is a
500,000 a month?
country. Liberia is a country. Liberia is a country, or let me say most African countries, unlike the transparency you see coming out of Western nations, where once you occupy a public office, there are certain information that is made available to the public for public consumption in terms of your salary and everything. Bulk of what we try to analyze in Liberia in terms of public servant salary, they are just mere assumption. They are just our own perception. There isn't any legislation, constitutional legislation, that mandates the salary of public servants, especially occupying key positions, to be published. So I'm saying apparently because the Liberia that I live in, I don't know of any constitutional document that gives me the privilege to know how much Magil is making. Magil can go on radio and tell me that he's making $5,000. That's his word. It could be a big lie because there is not a constitutional document that gave me, Ernest, a Liberian citizen, the right to know what Magil actually earns in terms of salaries and benefit and everything. For the US, as far as the US is, I can Google anywhere. I will know how much Nancy Pelosi is earning, how much McCarthy is earning, how much President Biden is earning. And so that's how open the society is to them to an extent, but not in the case of Liberia. So I could say apparently he's earning more
Yeah.
to be a millionaire within 5 years.
Let me say this to you. The Americans, they don't bluff. When they issue a statement, most especially when it comes from the federal government, they stand behind that statement. The fact that the United States government issue a statement of corruption, and not just a statement, but an indictment on these three individuals, that should tell you that they have been involved in corruption. And we see it. Mangay himself sell it. I'm stealing for me to bring the money to you and help you. He himself sell it, right? I will steal so I can do X, Y, Z. So if even if you were in doubt of what the Americans did, you have to believe the minister when he said what he said. So it cannot just be his salaries are making a millionaire. It is because of the same reasons he is now being indicted on corruption charges. That's why he is a millionaire today. And
Omage is sanctioned. Omage is sanctioned from the office of the president. The president is sanctioned. What would you want to would you want to go that? Would you want to go with me in that direction?
Look,
the president, the chief actor.
This sanction, although it was placed on three individuals, but this affects the image of the entire country, most especially the government, the administration of President Weah. Mange works in the president's office. He controls the president's office. If Mange is sanctioned for corruption, of course the president's office is corrupt. That's exactly what is being said. If the president, one second, let me end on this. That's part of the reason I've been looking forward to hear a statement from the president. Not just a written statement, but I wanted him to address it, because if the president says that he does not know how his office functions and that he doesn't know what his chief of staff does, then we are in a big trouble. Then the question is, what has he been doing? What has he been doing? If he says he doesn't know how his office functions, if he distanced himself from everything that has happened in his office, then our country is in a big, deeper trouble. We are in a deeper trouble, but we might not realize the problem or the trouble we are in until things are revealed from that very office. That's why I could have loved for the president to invite the LSCC to do an audit of that office. If Mange claimed that he's innocent, let the LSCC come in and do an audit.
But don't you think that at this point, because when we had a 60 billion issue, the president did not even trust the president did not place fit in the LCC, but rather the president called on the very United States of America for support, and Crows came in. Don't you think for real public transparency to avail, we will not need the LCC, because when we say that the LCC to a certain extent has been tempered with, because there has been so much debate around said conversation. Don't you think that the same Crow can step in on the president's request, because the president made some request and try to facilitate the entire investigation of the three sanctioned government officials?
Look, that would be an amazing thing if the president will will have that courage to do that. But the bare minimum we can do is to invite the institutions that we have in our country. The bare minimum we can do. Okay. If the president cannot mount up that courage to extend outside of the country, at least invite the people that are there with you on the ground. He cannot even do that. How can we expect him to extend an invitation to the international community? The bare minimum we can do is that. Okay, and he's not even doing that. So there is not much expectation here. I don't have any trust that he's going to do that. But the point I'm making to you here and the audience is that if Minister Mange claimed to be innocent of the charges that are brought against him, let there be an audit done in the office of the president. Let him submit himself and the entire Ministry of Presidential Affairs to an audit, and let's see what the result shows. But until that happens, I know the United States government can never release a statement without evidence. And when they push the United States government to provide evidence, they're definitely going to do that. They don't issue statements that they don't have evidence to support. You are talking about the Treasury Department of the United States that is issuing a sanction, and we want to joke with it. We shouldn't joke with it. But beyond that, these guys are rogues. We shouldn't celebrate people that steal from our country. We shouldn't celebrate them, regardless of personal thing they have done for you. Whether they have paid your children tuition or they have given you scholarship, that is your country money, and the way in which it has been used mean that they are bankrupting our national treasury, and that should be discouraged. We should look forward. We should look forward to people that can be accountable to the trust the Liberian impose in them. And President Weah seems not to shoulder that responsibility.
Okay. So at least we were able to run around some national issues. Yes, we could have more and more time, and then next time we can look more international issues. For now, District 13. Have you previously contested in District 13, for which you are, this district that you are aspiring to contest in 2023?
I contested in 2017 against Honorable Sir Joseph, and I finished third in that election, behind the late Alexander Sampon. And that election, Lincoln, it informs me about so many things about our people and about our district. Um, when I contested, one of the things that I like the people to know is that I'm I'm running because I want to help solve the problems we have in our district. Those problems, I lived them. I am now an adult. Those problems still exist. Those problems still exist in our districts. It is because we have not had a leadership that will solve them. For me, politics is to advance the public good. District 13 has not had the leadership that it deserved to solve those problems. And
So are you?
while we talk about that,
So are you, Mr. Wall? You contested an election that brought Sir Joseph, and then I just want to stick. I just want to draw a point from
what Sir
draw
Joseph,
a question.
you was going for a re-election.
Yes, I just want to draw a point from that. You said District 13 has not been adequately represented, and Sir Joseph, also his record, as he all normally says, that what he's done for District 13, he's more like the political godfather for District 13, and created enormous activities, enormous opportunities, did a whole lot, opening a lot of roads that were not accessible and all of that. So if you're saying that District 13 has been underrepresented for a very long time, then that means that you are saying that even the Sir Joseph reign in District 13 as the first gentleman for District 13 has not been one that yielded any fruit whatsoever.
Look, listen, my interest in a district is to move our district from a dysfunctional district to a district of service.
So it's been it
What,
was for
what,
how long this district
do we do,
in your own
do,
under
do we have do we have a hospital in the district? No. Do we have public assistance in the district, like transportation, like housing? No. The things that should improve the lives of our people. Are young people opportune to have jobs in the district? No. So your insection of what Sir Joseph did in the past is not my issue. My issue here is when I'm represented, I want to provide 500 jobs in my first term. I want to build a hospital in the name of the district, not in my name. Why? Because our mothers, our children shouldn't be struggling to take their sick. Shouldn't be struggling to find a place to take their sick when they are sick. That has been an age problem. The New Georgia clinic that we have there, it has nothing. When I was there recently, I went there. Bed bugs all fell in there. We are talking about a district that registered 48,000 people the last election. And they don't have access to any basic services. That should come to an end in the 21st century.
So is this
Pastor J. Archibald B. Wallow want to end that. I want to give young people the opportunity of job. Listen to me. We want to reduce. One second. Our people are poor. Okay, there's a lot of poverty in our district. The only way you can eradicate poverty, at least attempt to eradicate it, is when you give people opportunity of work. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to help our district develop our local economy, where we will have jobs for our young people. I'm saying that 500 jobs in my first term as representative of district number 13. And then in my first year, you will see a hospital. I'm talking about a modernized hospital will be built in the district that will have the name of the district, not in my name. So that the day I am not representative for the district will continue to benefit from it. And you know what else? Going to happen? We're going to move our district in the way that it raises its own money. We're not continue to depend on government to give us money before we can have money. So the roads you are talking about, the deplorable roads we have, most of the challenges, like look, just recently, the flooding issues. Our people have no help. I want to help them. I want to move our district in a way that it becomes independent. We build our local economy, that our sellers, people, our marketeers in the market will have people that will buy from them, right? I want
In
to
the
move our
perception,
district in a way that nobody have ever talked about, nobody have ever dreamed about, nobody will
uh-huh.
ever do. That's what I want to do in our district. And listen to me, our people deserve that because they have been striving and yelling for that. They need leadership, and I intend to provide that leadership. Bring our people
you
together
in,
in a
you
way that
intend
we will be able to solve the problem. My issue here is
you
solving the
intend
problems. My issue here is
yeah, Mr.
solving the
Waller.
problems.
Yeah, so Mr. Waller, I want to you know the primary concern for all of the aspirants at this point is to solve problems, because man, you will barely hear solutions. But I want for us to look at this. I like the word that you put forward, dysfunctional. How would you grade? How would you make? What's your own brief analysis, or yes, brief analysis of the entire time Sir Joseph led District 13?
No, listen to me. The district, our district need a leader that can make bold decisions, that can
And
lead
this
our
is what,
district. One
and this
second,
is why I
one
feel, and
second.
this no,
Our district,
I'm
our
coming,
district
Mr. Waller,
need a
Mr. Waller,
bold
Mr.
leader
Waller,
that can
Mr.
lead
Waller.
our people to prosperity. There
Sir
are
Joseph was
so
not
many
a bold
things. There
leader.
are so many things that are lacking in our district. I don't want you to make a discussion about an individual. I am
No,
discussing the life
no,
of
that,
our people. The
no,
life of District 13 people are bigger
no,
than Sir
the
Joseph.
thing,
They are bigger
no,
than me. They are bigger than anybody that will become a representative. So
no,
my
Mr. Waller,
issue here is
Mr.
how
Waller,
we can make the people
Mr.
lives
Waller,
better. One
Mr.
of the
Waller,
things, one of the things that
Mr.
I
Waller, Mr. Waller, Mr. Waller.
now when you ask me a
Sir
question, I will
Joseph.
expect you to allow me to answer.
No, no, I know. We are at the very critical point where you really want to say a lot, and I will make it. I will help you. I will be there to support you to say whatever you want to say, right? But at some point, being the host, I will inject maybe in a few instances or in when you say some things. At this point, I'm not discussing an individual. Sir Joseph now in this discussion is not an individual. When I after Sir Joseph, when I raise the issue of Edward Papi Flomo, it will not be an individual. If you are a representative or a past representative, if we are to measure, because you know when it comes to measuring achievement. So when we are talking about measuring achievement, we're not talking about individual. The people at the end of the day, they're going to select one person to represent them. Few years ago, it was Sir Joseph. Today, it is Edward Papi Flomo. In order for us, in my own opinion, to have a clear idea of where we want to take this district, is for us to firstly assess those who were there and those who are there now. What were their achievables? What were their lapses? And what gaps did they leave that is seriously negatively impacting lives? And what solutions do we bring forward? So when I'm discussing Sir Joseph, or when I mention the name Sir Joseph, I'm not talking about an individual, but I'm talking about a representative who at any citizen, any resident of District 13 can critique his time of representation. So I thought when you are using very important words which I deeply admire. You use the word, like the phrase, lack of leadership. You use the word dysfunctional. So when you say your district has been dysfunctional, you've had Sir Joseph who led the district first, and then currently you have a representation in person of Edward Papi Flomo at the House of Legislature. So if this district has been dysfunctional for a very long period, if this district lacks leadership, that means that Sir Joseph himself, his all through his term, was totally dysfunctional, and currently the current representative lacks the leadership that you want to come to fill that gap to drive the district forward. So I'll go back to ask you again. How would you measure Sir Joseph time as representative for this district?
I hope you were calling me the time for me to finish my
I'm
statement.
going to do that now.
Okay, thank you. So currently, our district there is no hospital. There has never been a hospital. People get sick, they take their loved one to JFK or to Cady Hospital, and sometimes people don't have the money. They are not treated right. Our district have not been fortunate for our district to have a hospital. It has been the history of the district. I want to bring that to an end. I want to give our people a 21st century hospital. And my first year as their representative, they will see us building a hospital in the district, in the name of the district. That has never been done. Currently, we cannot boast of anything that the district has. Nothing. There is no social services to our people. Young people don't have employment opportunities. I and my team will work harder for us to develop our local economy in a way that we provide 500 jobs for our people. If we want to take our people from poverty, they cannot continue to survive on the charity of other people. We have to give them that opportunity for them to work. Young people are looking forward to using their own hands to earn their own money. And the reason this is very important to me is because that's what changed my life. I was in the district. I never had opportunity to employment. But what changed my life is when I traveled outside of Liberia, came to the United States, got a job, able to work for my own money, being able to provide for myself and send some money back home to my family. That changed my life. It added to my self-esteem. It made me proud of myself. It gave me dignity. We want to restore dignity to our young people. There are people that were raised, born and raised in our district that have never had the opportunity of working. We want to bring that to an end. 500 jobs means that 500 families in our district going to benefit. That is what we are going to do by the grace of God when we become representative, because we have to bring to an end the era of unemployment in our district. We also want to invest. We also want to invest in agriculture. I think it makes sense for us to grow what we eat. There are people that are working in the agriculture field from our district. All we need to do is to mobilize their effort, bring them together, give them the support they need, and then produce our own crops that we can sell in our local market, produce our own crops that we can eat in our district. That will be providing jobs for our people. We want to do a lot of things. Those things that I just mentioned, they are not in our district currently. So whoever had become representative had not been able to solve those problems. Our people are poor. They need help. And the help you can give them is to give them an opportunity for them to work with their hands. That's what Liberian youth are yelling for. That's what Liberian women want. And that's exactly what we're going to do in our district. Pastor J. Archibald B. Wallow going to bring to an end an era of dysfunctional in the district. We want to move our district in a direction of being an independent district where we all of the businesses in our district protect them, but then also hold them accountable for them to do what they're supposed to do for the district as well. So there are so many things that we want to do in the district that other people have never done. The people themselves will be able to talk about what other people have never been able to do. Those of you in the media will be able to analyze things that other people have not been able to do. What I want to do here today on this show is to give our people hope, because it seems like there is no hope at all.
It was the
But
same.
there
It
is
was the
hope.
same. It was the same hope that we waited for, and today all of us we are in. I think we can see how the country is proceeding. But I will give this very beautiful Liberian proverbs. They say when somebody tell you that, oh, when I go to America, I will send you barrel, I will send you phone. Tell them say before you go, just get me down, just buy me one raw slipper. Let me be wearing that raw slipper. So anytime I look at it, I mean, even if you send me the barrel that you promised me, at least I got that slipper to be wearing until it's sport. I'm saying this to mean that you've been in the U.S. 20 since 2007. You were opportune to have traveled to the U.S. What has been your own contribution back in the district? What has been your own contribution in the area of healthcare that you intend to solve problems in? What has been your own contribution in the provision of basic social services that when you are elected next representative, you're going to make enormous contribution to uh in I mean, what has been Mr. Archibald Bernard? And sorry, man, this Archibald is close to this Bernard, Mr. Archibald Wallow. What has been Mr. Archibald Wallow contribution in the district, in the lives of women, in the lives of the very market women he wants to represent? That today Archibald is it can say to the people of District 13 that when you people elect me come 2023, these are the very things I'm going to build on, because you're not going to be doing anything from scratch. Representation should not be you electing people for them to come and do something from scratch. You
But there
should
is
be
nothing to build
representing
on.
people for
There
them.
is nothing to build on in the
So
district. The district has nothing,
no,
practically
I'm
nothing.
saying no, I'm not. No, I'm not
So no,
saying
no,
from the
but so there
district.
is nothing
What
to
has
build
been
on.
your own? No, what has been why? No, to you personally. Okay, Mr. Archibald Bernard wants to contribute to health
No,
by
Archibald,
building a more
Archibald Bleedy Wallow, not
bleeding
Bernard.
wallow. I don't know what the wallow is when Bernard coming from Hamoya today. Sorry, I'm Mr. Wallow. Mr. Archibald Wallow wants to step in the district and build a modern hospital. What has been Mr. Archibald Wallow, Mr. Archibald Wallow contribution in terms of healthcare in the district? What is his own legacy in basic social services? That as he come now to be represented, he tell the people say we already been doing all it in there. So now we coming with now that I have the office, I'm going to use the office now to just for us to just do a lot more. What have you been doing for the people of District 13 over the years?
I think that's a fair question. Um, and and I want to thank you for for that question. So let me just talk a little bit about what I have been doing since I left Liberia. Do I have your attention, sir? Do I have your attention?
Fully.
Okay, good. So what led me
My full
into
attention.
what led me into wanting to contest, or what led me into contesting in 2017 in the first place? Ever since I left Liberia, ever since I left my home in district number 13, my heart has always been home. I have never forgotten where I came from. I have never ever uh, lost connection with my people and my involvement in our district. We are a post-war country, and one of the things that I have always had interest in is healthcare, and not just physical health, but also and mental health, and also substance abuse issues. That has been something that that I have always expressed interest in. The school that I went to, that I graduated from with my master's degree in clinical psychology. I talked to the school for them to extend an annex to Liberia, for them to take uh, psychology, an institution that will provide that will provide uh, studies in psychology for us to be able to raise mental health workers, people that can work with substance abuse or, addiction issues, and that will be able to help us. Because one of the things and I saw when I every time I visited Liberia was Cato Center was doing some things in mental health, but just imagine, right? They were training people for 4 months, which is very inadequate. You cannot train an addiction specialist or addiction counselor for 4 months and you expect them to do a brilliant job. We are a post-war country. Okay, those mental health issues will derive because of the war, right? So When I talked to the university, they agreed. They agreed to actually go to Liberia and a and start um, a college of psychology in Liberia. But they wanted to get the government involved because they wanted their investment to be protected. Uh, I got on the phone with the then education minister. We talked about it. I wrote letters to the government, and I got government officials on the phone with the university. Right. But today, like the way you begin the conversation with the statement I was made by the suspended minister of presidential affairs, they wanted bribe from these people. They were asking what they could benefit. Okay, they were asking that. Okay, Americans that did not know our country, but because of my words, my advocacy, because of the way I presented the problem, they told me to do an entire review of the entire Liberian population. We did that. They helped me to do it. And we presented a program, a program to them. After the revision, they accepted that only for my government to come, and government officials were asking for what they could benefit for themselves. The people felt discouraged. They felt discouraged to the extent that they said, well, Archibald, right now we cannot go to your country, but we'll revisit that another time. I felt so bad.
So
And
the
one second. This is very
no.
important. This is very important. Okay. This is
Yeah.
very important. I felt so distinct and very, very bad. One of the things that I learned from that process is when you are not in a particular position in Liberia, there are so many things you cannot do. There will be people that are going to hinder you. And some of those help might benefit thousands of Liberians. Do you know what it means for you to have a college of psychology in Liberia? And where you think that college of psychology was going to be built? Right in District 13, right in my home. Okay, that is where, because my thing was we don't have a school of psychology in Liberia. That was going to be the first university or the first college of psychology in our country. I was trying to do that, but people in high places stop that from happening. I want to be represented because I need a platform. There are so many things, so many good things that can come to the country if you have trusted people in leadership. That's number one. Number two, I'm not going to sit on the platform and outline everything that I have done over the period of my stay in the United States. But I just wanted to let you know that my motivation for which I want to enter into public office is not because of me. It's because of the masses. It's because of the suffering people of Liberia. What I have done so many things. Even prior to me leaving Liberia, I have done so many things. Now let me just recently, when the Ebola thing happens, I dispatch not the Ebola, but the coronavirus, right? The recent coronavirus,
Yes, the COVID-19, yes.
the COVID-19 issues. My
Yeah.
team and I was the only team in the district that were distributing masks and hand sanitizers. None from the current representative and none from any aspirant that will run or that is
That
wanting
could
to
be
run. My team was the only.
that could be a huge debate. So
No,
how
it
did
will not be
you
a huge.
how
It can be a huge debate because the facts are clear. The facts are
that you were
clear.
the only
Listen,
you
I
were the
was the
only
only person.
individual
My team, and I was the only team that distributed masks and hand sanitizer. You know why? Because I learned from history the Ebola killed our people in Liberia, and looking at the way even the United States that has so much sophistication, so much institution to combat against the COVID-19, the way people die here. I was like, if this thing hit our country and our people don't have the protection that they need, it would be a huge disaster. I unleashed my team. Do you know what I did? I did not
no
buy the imported masks. We hired tailors in the district because we wanted to spend the money in the district, support the local economy there. We paid tailors. They sold the masks. We bought the hand sanitizer, and it was distributed throughout the 38 communities of the district. There is no house in the district that we did not reach. Go and talk to people about that.
So,
no, 1 second. Give me a time. You asked me a question. You asked me a question. Let me answer your question.
These questions, they are very important. I'm still going to be building on them. So,
yes, but let me exhaust my question. Let me exhaust my answer. Let me exhaust my answer. I'm just going to tell you. Just recently, currently, we Team Waller have built a school for Muslim women and children. Muslim women and children in the district. Okay, we have done that. Not in my name. But because we thought that the people needed it. They needed it. And so we went ahead and we did it. Just recently, in April of this year, I took a women organization to Liberia called Women Identify the Needs for Growth and Stability, WINGS. We launched that women organization in the district. They are working with women all across Liberia. I took them there. And that is an American women organization that are going to work with our women. They're going to create a community of women. They're going to support them with loans, with businesses. They're going to do that. I took them there. I took the Good Samaritan to Liberia that provides counseling. I did. I want this position as a platform for me to work for our people in a way that other people have never been able to do it. There are so many things in what we have done that we cannot stay here and outline all of them. Because one thing I don't do is I don't help people and go and talk about it. I don't give people feedback arrests and post it on Facebook. Our people don't deserve that. They shouldn't be treated that way. That's what politicians do. I am not a politician. I want to solve problems. That's why I'm running. And people have always been in the way of stopping us to do that. Listen to me, Lincoln. We want this platform, and you should help us to get it. Because it will benefit our people in the district, because we want to work for them. We want to put them at the forefront. We want the world to hear that story. Enough is enough. Okay, somebody take few back arrests, they take few photos, they put it on Facebook in the name of charity. I don't do that. I don't play politics with our people's lives. Our people deserve more than that. They deserve dignity and they deserve respect. And posting on Facebook because you help somebody, it doesn't call it. We want to do things right, and we want our people to understand that what we are doing, what we are advocating for is not for Pastor Wallow. It's because of the district that I love, the place that I call home.
Wallow,
our people deserve it. They deserve to be worked for, and I want to work for them.
Let me come in. You know, we have this thing where we've been tricked by politicians consistently when you ask them questions and they say, "Oh, I've done a lot and I don't want to talk about it." No, I think the idea of politics is different from the idea of religion, because nowadays we need track record to be presented to the people.
I guess all those things that I've done. You want me to?
No, I know you did it. You did it. I mean, at some point in the conversation, you said you didn't want to do it, but at least you did it, because it is important for us to do it. We should be electing people based on track records in Liberia, and not the fact that people will tell us, "Oh, I don't like to these things." Can
I say something? Can I say something real quick?
I'm coming.
No. I don't want to forget, because of your track record thing you're talking about. Track record shouldn't be based on charitable deeds, because when election is coming, that's when people seems to be this charitable personality. Okay,
no, but
that's what track record should be. That's not what track record should be built on. Track record should be built on what you have done, honestly, not just for few people in your own name, because there are a lot of people.
So politically, how do we measure honesty?
No. Listen.
No, you are coming. You are not a politician, as you said it. You want to come and solve problems. But when we're talking about honesty in politics, it's difficult to measure.
Yes,
Anyone could
but you
say
know
that
what?
what I'm doing
You
is
know
from my
what? It is
heart
not.
and this and that.
It is not honest. It
Uh-huh.
is not honest. It is not honest when you give people feedback arrest and you post it on Facebook. That's not honesty. That's you play
That's
politics with
information. That's
people's life.
information.
Yeah, but why
That's information. That's
why the
information.
public need to
That's information
why the
discrimination.
public need that information?
The
Because
platform
you
is
want to show
available
yourself
to
or
to,
doing
to dis-
you want to show
no,
yourself or helping somebody. That's all it is there
no,
for. Is that the kind of track
no.
record you are talking about? But that's not what I do. Listen to me. Go on Daquitan field. You see the iron post on that field? I put it there.
So, Mr. Wallo,
Okay.
let me say this.
I don't
Let me
post it
say
on
this.
Facebook.
Don't you
But the
think?
people, I
Don't you
did it
think?
because the
Don't you?
community needed it.
No.
I don't
Don't you
post it
think
on
it will?
Facebook. The community needed
Don't
it.
you
So I
think,
did
Mr.
that.
Wallo? Mr. Wallo, don't you think it will hurt you politically that you are doing everything that you said you are doing, and the public is not in the know of what you are doing, and then you come as an aspirant, as a candidate before the very people, and you start to explain these things, and people cannot find trace of them, and it hurts you at the ballot box. Don't you?
Yeah,
Don't
but
you think
that
it becomes at your own detriment? And
that
since you have several platforms or social media platforms, you are in America. I know there isn't any country right now that I know that the politicians use the social media platforms more than the American politicians, whether it is on Instagram, whether it is on Twitter, whether it is on Facebook, inclusive of their own website and all of that. So they use every available information too. So for us, for Mr. Waller to have constructed a school, the vast majority of the people don't know it. Apparently, maybe as only the people at that section where that project took place. For Mr. Waller to have distributed nose masks and all of that, and then those important information is not accessible to the public. Do you not think it will hurt you at the ballot box?
that's a very good question. I didn't do it because of politics. I did it because a
But you want
group.
to be a politician?
One second. One second. One second. One second. Politics does not make me who I am. I am who I am, whether politics or not. You see, that's what public office does. It reveals us. If you are not honest in what you do, how can you be honest when you are given a piece of job to do? Everything that I have outlined to you, bringing a women organization to Liberia to help our women, not just District 13, but the women of Liberia. I did it because I followed these women, that organization track record in the United States. I know what they can do. I know what help they can give to our people. I put my character on the line for them to go to Liberia. They were willing to go to Malawi, another African country. I said, no, Liberia need it. You people have to go to Liberia. You people have to. I advocated for Liberian women. I didn't do it because of politics. But when I come on your show and you ask me what has been your track record, of course I have to mention it for you to know that I've been involved in Liberia. But I don't take feedback or rights, give it to people, and then post it on Facebook. Just recently, the flooding thing that happens. The flooding thing that happened. Team Waller distributed food. We don't post it on Facebook. That's degrading our people. They don't deserve it. That's what I'm saying. And if you think that's going to hurt me politically, of course it should. But I am not going to change who I am for political expediency. I want to give dignity to our people, not to take it away from them. I want to restore their honor, not to perpetuate what other people have done to them. We have used our people for political gains. I'm not in the business of doing that. If District 13 wants the problems in District 13 to be resolved and to be solved, to find solutions to them, I am your guy. I am not going to play politics as usual in the name of politics because I need a political office. I'm not going to do that. I have a church in that district. When I talk, people listen to me. I want to be an example to the young people. There are a lot of people that look up to me. I'm not going to tell the lie. I'm not going to degrade our people. I'm not going to present a false front because I want to occupy a political office. That's not how we should treat our people. That's not what they deserve. And that's not what leadership is about. Leadership is about finding the actual problems and finding solutions to solve those problems. That is the leadership I want to provide for our district. And if our people will not listen to me for that, well, then I think I did not do enough to explain to them my vision. But I would take the time to explain to them my vision of wanting to change the district from a dysfunctional district to a district that prospers.
So,
I'm going to
Mo,
do that. My team going to do that. And I have a very active team on the ground that is doing that. And our people are going to listen because they are tired of being tired. Our people are poor. We need to address the issue of poverty. We need to address the issue of substance abuse in the district. Currently, there is so much crime in our communities. Nobody is doing anything about it. We're going to solve that. Because let me tell you something. That's one of the things I do in the United States. If anybody understands alcohol and drug issues, addiction issues, it will be me. And we're going to we're going to solve that problem. Our brothers, our sisters that are disadvantaged, they need a voice. They don't only need a voice, but they need solution. We
Mr.
have
Wallo,
to address all of those things.
you strike something very important. You've been in the U.S. for well over, I mean, for a good number of years now, and you basically maybe I wouldn't want to say maybe an expert or a specialist in issues surrounding drug and substance abuse, and you've managed to bring in other people, and they are helping women and all of that. Why haven't you put in some time and energy in investing in this issue of drug and substance abuse in District 13? As you and me know, that District 13 is very high. It's a high risk district in terms of the very substance abuse. So why is someone of your kind seeking public office, but is waiting to be a representative before you start to address something like this, when you can invest your time, your energy, and part of your resources to use your team back home to start to invest in that particular area in terms of bringing some level of refinement, in some level of safety, some level of security, and hope to parents who see their children that they've invested in over so many years to be someone in the future, and there they lying waste in the street, either at night, during the daytime, or loading car during the nighttime. They are they are dangerous criminals and stuff like that. Why would you wait to be a representative before you deploy such brilliant knowledge that you have to the people of District 13?
That's a beautiful question. And the fact is, I did. I established an organization called Royal, Realizing Our Youth as Leaders. Royal.
What has been the achievable so far?
One second. Let me talk.
Yeah.
Okay. What Royal started doing initially was to get to first of all bring our less fortunate brothers and sisters together. We have an entire program at the New Georgia Junction where there was this rehab that was established by President Weah when he first took office. We brought a guy that was running out that rehab. We brought him in the district for him to explain to our brothers and sisters how their program works. We provided we provided the money, we provided everything for that to happen. And the reason we did it was we wanted to use their program to take those children there into the rehab. He came there, he explained everything to them, and he and myself were in touch. We took some of the people there to the rehab. Okay. But do you know why that stopped? Because of mismanagement from the people that were running it. I didn't like the way they were doing it. I didn't like what was going on. The people that supposed to have benefited was not benefiting. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put stop to it until I come to Liberia. Right. When I visited Liberia, Currently, there's a rehab at Tusa Field. I went there. I talked to the owners. It's too expensive for struggling families to send their relatives there. And one of the things I said to them was, I said, you guys have something unique that can benefit our district. If we can have a representative that can work with you people, right, to subsidize this place, provide some funding for it, so that our brothers and sisters will be able to come here, okay, and go through that process. But then also when they leave, they should be able to have counseling services that will help them to be reintegrated into the society. That is something that I have discussed. Okay, so we have my brother. Let me tell you something. I'm a single person. Okay, I am a single person. Most of the things that I want to do, I have attempted during them. Okay, but when you are not on the ground, there are certain things that cannot be done the way you want it to be done. Sorry to say, but that is the fact. Okay, I talked about the hospital. Do you know what we're going to add to the hospital? We're going to add a mental health rehabilitation center. Rehabilitation or substance abuse is my thing, because the people, you see, our brothers and sisters that are struggling with addiction, it is not their fault. They were exposed to it. Our country is a post-war country. There are people that bring drugs in our country and leash those drugs in our very communities. We have to solve that problem. I am better positioned. I understand it. And I tell you the truth. There are people in the United States and other places that will be able to help us. That will be able to help us when we advocate. When people understand, Lincoln, one of the things you don't know about the international community is this. When people understand that you are representing a group of people and that they can trust you, they give you a lot of help. That's exactly why I need that platform. Me as an individual, there is just so much that I can do. But we as a people, as District 13, as a representative for a people, there are a lot of things that we can do that will move our district way, way forward. And that's exactly what I want to do. I went to school in this country. People can trust me. I'm going to use my office to connect District 13 to the diaspora. And there will be a lot of good things that are going to come in our district. Our people need to understand that the crimes, the drugs, all of those issues are not going to go away by themselves. We have to take a practical steps. We have to take a practical step of resolving them. Pastor J. Archibald B. Waller is well positioned, well knowledgeable to do that. And I'm not only just going to stop in our district, I'm going to put forward legislation that will decriminalize substance abuse. The children don't need to go to jail. They need to go to a rehab. And I tell you the truth, as representative, any budget that's going to come in the house that does not have money for substance abuse or for rehab activity, I'm going to vote against it. This is time for us to give voice to our struggling brothers and sisters. Enough is enough. They will have a voice in the house. They will have a voice in the house.
Yeah, such an important legislation over there. But I should ask, can the people of District 13 rest assured that even if Pastor Archibald Wallow does not make it to the Capitol building, is this hospital going to be something of fruition, whether or not he becomes a representative? Because the issue about health care or delivering social services or serving the people necessarily don't have to be someone becoming representatives. And I think we have to start to amplify our voices on these things, because we the citizens of Liberia, we get to listen to very beautiful promises. But then, when people have gone in this thing called the political race to contest in it doesn't really work out well for them. They just get quiet, they just leave, and then the people don't get to realize these things. I'm saying this because we all of us are Liberians, and I know for sure what we've been through. Mr. Archibald Wallow ran to 2017 in year he didn't win, but Mr. Archibald Wallow is coming back to the race, but with all these beautiful blueprints. Whether or not you win, are these blueprints that the people of District 13 can rest assured that they are going to be benefiting and through the kind gesture of Pastor Wallow.
Yes, yes. Let me tell you something. As an individual, it's going to take longer to get done. Okay, but that is something I'm committed to. My man, let me tell you something. I could have been a Zoko if I was in Liberia. I could have been.
Why?
Because you never tell. When drugs is illegal in your community, let me tell you something. Growing up in Basota, do you know what we look forward to? The only thing we look forward to was to play football. Nothing else. That was the only thing that motivated us. Thank God my parents were so straight that we had a very good upbringing. But it doesn't matter. There are friends that I know that have very good parents, that have very good upbringing. And they are exposed to drugs. And today, they are addicted to the substance. It could be a brother, it could be a relative, it could be a friend, whatever it is. I am committed to this. That's what I say. I don't play politics with these things because people's lives are involved. For me, I see politics to advance the public good. And that's why I'm running. Because I want to make this thing front and center. And by the grace of God, by the way, I ran against Ombosa Joseph. I came very late in that elections. I came third. Don't underestimate me. This election, because of the things that are at stake, because of the problems that we have to solve and the things that we have to do for our people, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to work harder to win. Because what we have now, we can have it for the next 6 years. It will be a disaster. Our people cannot wait. They can't wait for a change. And I am offering that. And any meaningful Liberian live in district number 13, you want to see our district move forward and our people's lives improve, rally around Team Wallow. Team Wallow is your choice. Team Wallow is the way to go. If you want our district to achieve these things, I am not going to lie to you for a political seat. I mean what I say. I'm committed to it. I have that experience to get it done. And I'm going to work for our people the way no other person has been able to do that. And we will.
Okay, let's get to this.
And by the grace of God, we will do it.
How do you balance the cheetah and the sheep? I'm basically trying to say, how do you manage the rough politics?
Well, I think my hoax, maybe he's having some technical issues.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV. With check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV. Bringing you face-to-face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV. The best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
Yeah. Christoph the King. I'm back on these egotistic politicians. I'm on my way now to reach and see my dreams. All I see is diamonds and gold. But when I wake up,
I see my people selling iron and coal. Ego, ego, we're gonna control your soul. I thought they said I let control your reach, but how come my people are poor? When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. It's just the way that we live. My people still acting like graves. See, y'all need to change all that evil mentality. You won't receive, you must give. Let's change the way that we eat. Let's change the way that we think. See, I'm from the ghetto where kids not that wasted. If you can smoke, you can drink. I know you been to America, but I just came from Soweto. Cause that by easy, the living is hard, but we still survive in the ghetto. When the government steal that embezzlement, the government people are problem. I swear to God, who gonna solve them? I swear to God, who gonna solve them? When you get money, you holding your brabby, you just gotta have on your product. I stay for the girls and the boys in the ghetto, the ones with no money to eat, man. They spend millions of dollars on guns, fuck your way our infrastructure and loved ones. 9 out of 11 with crumbs. Where I'm about to raise up my daughters and sons. We need to switch it up, people. The way that we living is evil. The way that we living is evil. The way that we living is evil. I'm on my way now to reach it. See my dreams, all I see is diamonds and gold. But when I wake up, I see my people selling iron and coal. Ego, ego, we're gonna control.
Fuck out TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening.
Okay, we're back. Okay, Mr. Wallow. Yes, we had an abrupt cut of power. That's the LEC. We're already winding down because there's a 2-hour show, but then we had to adjust the schedule to fit you.
Yeah.
So we're basically talking about your own representative. Then I asked this question. We wind it down now. How do you intend to balance your life as a pastor and your life as a politician once you get elected?
I don't understand the question, but
no, from the beginning I said how do you tend to balance the cheetah and the sheep? That means politics, as we all know, is a very rough one, and the sheep is this calm guy, So how do you intend to balance the two?
Wow. So number one, I disagree with your analogy, because one of the things that we need to always embrace and talk about is that people that work in churches, pastors, evangelists, praise leaders, those people are leaders. Okay, and they are leaders that are contributing to our society. Churches, there are so many churches that build schools that is helping the government's effort in education. And those schools should be fully represented in our national discussion. Okay. I don't see my service in the church and in the society as being different. I don't see it that way, because whatever we do for our congregation, the congregations are Liberians. They live in a society. On a given Sunday, people stay in church for 3 hours. Do you know where they spend the rest of their time? In their communities. If their communities are full with drugs, with crimes, with things that will affect their lives, your church will be affected. Your congregation will be affected. There should be no distinction between your service you provide in the church and your service you give to your country. In fact, we should encourage more of that, because the premise of your question seems to be like you can't work in a church and work in government or in politics.
No.
That. And no, besides that,
though, I cannot say that. I cannot say that to any person. For me, I know the role of the sheep, of the shepherd to the sheep. So I would just want to know, I cannot determine that, oh, because you are a pastor, don't come into politics and all of that. No, that's not those things. They are not for me. Looking at how rough it is and looking at how tempting a lot of things is involved with politics and the spiritual role that a pastor, a priest, or imam has, the balance of these two things becomes my concern. And these are things that, and that's just all I ask, that you tell me, not just me, but the public, how these things are going to be balanced. But
No.
whether you are a pastor and want to run, I mean, that's a constitutional right.
Well, that was not what I was speaking about. I know you did not, you did not say it that way, but that was not what I was responding to. What I'm a pastor and trying to run. That was not what I was talking about. What I was making reference to is this conversation that we have in our national discussion about uh the church being different from politics or from political activities, right? And the point I was making is that whether in the church or outside of the church, we are all God's children. The president of the Republic of Liberia should be God fearing. He doesn't have to be a pastor. He doesn't have to be a deacon. He has to be a man that respects God, that fears God. Because any man that fears God will also honors God and fear God, will also want to do the right thing, right? Honor the image of God as well. We should encourage that, right? It doesn't have to be whatsoever in the church. We should expect that of our leaders, right? Now,
Yeah,
just
so we've
one second, I come to
okay,
your
so
question
we've
now.
basically
To come to your
absorbed
question about
our
politics
time,
being wrong.
and I mean, prior to
No,
our
let me just
conversation,
make the point
you
about politics being
you
wrong.
have double activities and you have to run to another one. And probably another time we could, I mean, have some of these same interactions for the
No, currently I'm not pastoring actively. We have pastors
okay,
that do that. We have pastors that do
okay.
that. We have pastors of our congregation that do that. So I'm not pastoring currently, although I preach though, but I am not pastoring. That's a two different thing, right?
Yeah.
So we have people that that oversees the work of the ministry. So I'm not actively doing that.
So in your parting statement for today's interaction, what message do you intend to put forward?
Mr. Lincoln, thank you, and let me say thank you to the Full Court Talk family. I think there was an opportunity for us to discuss some of the issues that our people are being affected with. I wish and hope that we have these conversations in a very honest and balanced way, because what we are talking about the lives of people. We are
Yeah.
talking about, you know, changing the course of our district. I'm interested in one thing: to solve the problems we are confronted with. These problems are age-old problems. They existed for so long. Whether it has to do with lack of medical facility in our district, what it has to do with lack of employment, opportunity for jobs in our district, what it has to do with crimes and addiction, whether it has to do with lack of infrastructure, whatever it is, we want to tackle this problem head on. We are serious about it. Election is just for a period of time. The person you're going to elect going to have 6 years. What they do with that 6 years is another thing. We don't want to come back in the next election to be talking about the same old problems. That's why I am putting myself forward and my vision to move our district from a dysfunctional district to a district of service that provides service for its people. And so, if anybody, those of you out there that are listening to us, if you are serious about these issues, if you want this issue to be solved and resolved permanently, join us, join Team Wallow. Let's deliver the change that our people have long been yelling for. And let's put our district on the path that will lead us to prosperity. And as your representative, I make this commitment to you. I'm going to work harder to make sure that we have a modern hospital in our district that will provide jobs and raise money for our district. We make sure that we invest in agriculture. We have to grow what we eat. We make sure that we build our infrastructure, whether it's low housing. We'll connect our district to the diaspora. There are people, Liberians from our district, all over the United States and other part of the world that want to help. We'll use our district office and our office at the Capitol building for us to connect our district to the rest of the world. People that want to do stuff in Liberia, we allow them to use our district for them to do it because we want to provide jobs. 500 jobs we will provide in our first term. And that is something that we are going to be, that we can commit to. And I want you to hold me by that because that's exactly the vision that I'm putting forward. I look forward to working with every one of you. Let's make this happen and let's get District 13 the leadership that it deserves once and for all.
Well, Pastor Waller, I'm sorry. I mean, those I said parting comment, but I beg you, please, please, just 160 seconds. I mean, please. I wanted to ask about this 500 jobs and a slate of. Please, I beg you. After you, I'm not going to ask you another question. You have to run. How do you intend to roll out 500 jobs to the district residents?
Yeah, I wish that question came earlier.
Yes. I was just about to put the question forward when we had to switch power.
Yeah. Okay. But let me just throw a little light on that. And that's a beautiful question. And those are the things, those are the conversations I'm looking forward to us having. All right. Like for example, I talk about building a hospital, right? The hospital going to provide jobs for people. I'm talking about a modernized hospital. I'm talking about a hospital for the 21st century. A hospital that our people don't have to leave District 13 to go outside of District 13 for medical issues. They're going to have those services in the district, right? So we are going to invest in things that will provide jobs. We're not going to do projects. We're going to investment. Like for another example, we're going to invest in low housing, right? There are people currently, Mr. Lincoln, you in a district, ask people how much they pay for rent, one room. People are paying $15, $20 for a room. And there are people that have large families that are not able to afford more than one room. They are with their children in just one room because it is that amount they can afford. We want to give our people the opportunity for them to be able to live places that are decent, and that will also bring down the cost of rent. So we are going to build low-income housing, right? And that's going to provide jobs. We're also going to invest into transportation, because we're going to put some vehicles on the road because we want to raise money for our district. We don't want to continue to depend on central government. We want to put vehicles in the street, and that's going to provide jobs. But then also we're going to invest in agriculture. We're going to produce what we eat in our district. Our products will be sold in our local markets. We're going to invest in that. That is also going to provide jobs. We're going to invest into entertainment, like theater, right? We're going to do things that are going to bring us money, but then also going to provide jobs. Okay, I cannot outline everything right now, but those are some of the things that we are going to do. And we're going to do it where services are needed. We're going to make an investment with the sole purpose of providing jobs. Like another thing that I didn't mention, sanitation. Sanitation alone going to provide 100 jobs. We want to help the city of Moravia to keep our district and its environment clean. Right? We're going to empower, we're going to bring tools that will help us to do that. Our district is going to get back to work. Our people will be happy with the job we're going to do because it will be awesome. It's going to lead a district to prosperity, and our people, we're going to eradicate poverty and 55% with the jobs we're going to provide because our people need that. They need that opportunity. So those are some of the things we're going to do by the grace of God. And that's why we want everybody to come on Team Wallow. Help us. Let's win and deliver the change that our people need.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Waller, for coming on Foca Online TV. The platform is yours. I know this is just one of many interactions we're going to have, especially for the fact that you've presented yourself as a candidate to the people of Liberia, to the people of District 13 specifically. I've been your host, Lavi Ernest Lincoln, and with your representative aspirant all the way there from the U.S. Most of our aspirants they are in the U.S. and around election time we see them. So we're going to be seeing him soon.
But this one is different. He's been involved. He was just in
He's been involved. No,
recently.
I know. He's been involved. He's been really involved as per what he's put forward today. So yes, Sunday we look forward to another conversation. And let me say, Pastor Wallo, thank you very. Do have yourself a wonderful new week. Goodbye.
Foca TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Foca TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Foca TV, bringing you face-to-face with newsmakers in town. Foca TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Foca TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Foca.